Get your food. Who? Get in the car? Who? Nay. Get your food. Get your food. If you say one more thing, I'm gonna knock you out. Oh my grandma, say one.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to your boy, the Sean Davey Way Show. Please hit the like and subscribe on the way in. Tap that bell if you would like to be notified of all of our future content. Today, I bring you another surviving on Carlishia Hood. Carlishia is a woman that was attacked inside of a hot dog store by a man by the name of Jeremy Brown. He hit her multiple times on camera with bystanders standing around recording this woman be injured by this man doing nothing. In the process, her 14-year-old son, in a heroic sense, took matters into his own hands to protect his mother by injuring Jeremy Brown, and his injuries were not sustained. Jeremy Brown ended up passing away after the 14-year-old protected his mother from being injured by Jeremy.
Hello everyone, I'm Carlishia, C-A-R-L-I-S-H-I-A. Last name is Hood, H-O-O-D. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the support for me and my family. On June 18th of this year, my life changed. My son's life changed. I've experienced pain in many ways that I would never have thought, never. What happened to me was totally unnecessary. Never in a million years would I have imagined being brutally attacked, beaten, and then arrested. I am thankful that the Cook County State's Attorney dismissed the case. I am also thankful to have my son with me and by my side, and also his charges being dismissed. I thank my family for supporting me and the people all over the world. The people did not play. Yeah. And I just thank God everything was revealed. And just everybody who has been praying and rooting for us, I just thank God for them. That did not go unnoticed. You are all not forgotten. And we are praying for all the families affected by this horrible tragedy. I am now in the process of healing and putting my family's life back together. During this trying time, we ask if, we could please have space to rest and recover from this life-altering situation. And that you all continue to keep us in your prayers. In the near future, I will be able to respond to outpouring of support. Again, I just need a little time to heal and to just get my life back with my baby. Thank you all from the bottom.
News outlets and blogs have been putting out the wrong information about Carlishia and her son with this incident with Jeremy Brown, because it was stated that Carlishia sent her son to do what he did, but that's not true. Her son decided to take matters into his own hands to protect his mother. Speaking of wrong information with outlets and blogs, they also put out there that Carlishia scammed the people for a GoFundMe. Now, if you don't know about the GoFundMe, Carlishia and her son were first arrested for murder charges. Those charges did not stick. They were all dropped, and Carlishia and her son were released from jail. In the process, over $10,000 have been raised to help them with their charges against Jeremy Brown. I am here to correct these outlets and let everyone know that the finances that were raised in GoFundMes, etc., for Carlishia and her son, after they were released, they were refunded. So let's get into that. So instead of trying to make Carlishia a bad person, that her being injured by a man in front of many people and nothing being done about it, instead she was arrested, and trying to make it seem as if she's using this situation to profit from, that is not true. Let's get into it. Shout out to blackenterprise.com. Donations for a mother and son accused of murder are being returned to senders after charges were dropped. Carlishia Hood and her 14-year-old son walked free from first-degree murder charges against them were dropped on June 26 for the passing of Jeremy Brown, 32. The Chicago mom is planning to sue, according to CBS News. She did not comment after her release. Black Enterprise previously reported the events that led to the murder charges. Hood was captured in a video standing in line at a Maxwell Street Express restaurant in Chicago. Her unnamed 14-year-old son reportedly waited for her in the car. Footage showed an altercation between Hood and Brown, who was also in the restaurant. Audio from the video revealed Brown threatened Hood, saying, "Lady, get your food. Say one more thing and I'm going to knock you out." After which, Brown struck Hood in the head, punching her multiple times. According to CBS News, a second video showed Brown's 14-year-old son approaching the restaurant's front door after his mom texted him for help. The boy pulled a weapon from his hoodie and pow-powed Brown in the back. The outlet reported Brown fled the scene while Hood and her son chased him. The mother reportedly ordered her son to pow and kill her attacker. Brown was powed in the back again and later died. A judge initially ruled that Hood and her son had committed first-degree murder based on the footage that showed Brown being pow-powed after running away. However, after further investigation by the state's attorney's office, charges against the mother and son were dropped because it was determined that they resorted to deadly force in self-defense. More than $10,000 is being refunded to the people who donated to help Hood and her son. Hood was held on a $3 million bail, and her son was charged as a juvenile without bail, News One reported. Hood's family collected the donations on GiveSendGo. The page now reads that the campaign is unpublished. Again, Carlishia and her son and her family made sure that everyone that donated to the campaign got their money back, so all of the money has been refunded because it was being raised to get Carlishia out on bail. They did not need a bail because all of the charges were dropped, so in a good-hearted way, she made sure that everybody got their money back. So again, shout out to Carlishia for doing the right thing. But if you notice, news outlets are still reporting that Carlishia sent her son to do what he did, and that is not true. From what Carlishia and her son has said, that did not happen. He took matters into his own hands after she let him know that she was being harmed in the restaurant. I feel that since people are so opinionated, let's get into what would have happened if bystanders would have helped instead of recorded. You know, everybody's go-to, let's record somebody being hurt and injured instead of doing something about it. Instead of stepping in or calling the police or something like that. No, let's not do that. Let's record instead. So let's get into that. On Monday, June 26th, Chicago State Attorney's Office officially dropped first-degree murder charges along with other charges against Carlishia Hood and her 14-year-old son. On June 18th, Hood had an exchange with Jeremy Brown, 32, in a Chicago restaurant. According to authorities, Hood texted her teenage son to come help her, and he brought along a registered firearm with him. A disturbing clip that has circulated online showed Brown threatening to knock out Hood after then becoming violent, punching Hood several times. After the incident, Hood's son pow-powed Brown, and he sustained several pow-pow wounds to the back. Brown was now pronounced dead shortly after. Hood and her son turned themselves in to authorities last week. Quote from Carlishia's sister: "My sister was attacked and my nephew is not a thug or never been in a gang. Justice will prevail. We just want them home." After it was announced that Hood and her son wouldn't face any charges, people on social media sounded off about whether or not it was the right call. However, they are victims in this entire ordeal. Not only was the mother attacked by Brown, but onlookers used the moment to not help Hood, but to record her being punched and then remove themselves from an uncomfortable situation. Her 14-year-old son should have never been put in the position to protect her, but because no one else intervened, he had no choice. The fact that folks would rather record a black woman being punched in the head by a man than help her is very upsetting. Illinois self-defense laws allow someone to use force to defend not only themselves but other people as well. That was the justification for dropping the charges, though Hood has filed a complaint against the city of Chicago and the 5 police officers. I cannot agree more. I think it's a very sad thing that instead of people stopping and helping Carlishia, they just watched. And then when the situation got way too uncomfortable, they removed themselves instead of doing something. You don't always have to get violent with someone that is violent. You could simply just talk to them. Maybe someone standing around vocally could express how this was not the right move for Brown, and maybe his life would have been saved. But instead, he chose to be violent and used all of that vitriol towards this woman for no reason, and it is what it is. But moving right along. After Jeremy passed away and people saw, especially Jeremy Brown's family, saw that there was fundraisers and whatnot that was raised for Carlishia and her son, they decided to do the same thing. They wanted to put GoFundMes and other sources together to raise money for not only Jeremy's funeral, but allegedly his 2 twin daughters that he left behind. So let's get into that. But before we do, in the comments, do you think that it's fair that he attacked this woman in that restaurant and now people are feeling sorry enough for him to try to raise money to bury him when all of it was uncalled for? It could have been completely avoided. But again, you know how people are, the mammies and the pappies of the world. No matter how wrong a black person is, black people are still going to defend them in some way, shape, or form. So let's get into that. There are always 2 sides to every story. People are generally encouraged to let legal proceedings occur before they pass their judgment. However, legal expenses are often significant, so the parties usually open GoFundMes or other alternative fundraising methods. Something similar happened in the Carlishia Hood and Jeremy Brown murder case, except there was one difference. Only one of them, Carlishia Hood, has a GoFundMe page to receive donations. As such, people wonder if there is a way to help Jeremy Brown, who was pow-powed and KILLED'd by Hood's 14-year-old son. On June 18th, the 35-year-old mother and her minor son powed Brown at a Chicago hot dog stand. By the time police arrived at the scene, Brown was already deceased. An alleged GoFundMe has been set up for Jeremy Brown by his cousin Ashanti Brown with a goal of $1,000 for his service. It hasn't been confirmed if his family set up the fundraiser. The 32-year-old man was pow-powed by Carlishia Hood's 14-year-old son, after a verbal altercation escalated to Brown repeatedly hitting Hood. The murder charges against the mother and son have been dismissed by authorities. Carlishia Hood had set up a GoFundMe to pay her legal expenses. She had raised upwards of $15,000 through it. The fundraiser acknowledged that there could be diverging accounts, but claimed that Hood acted in self-defense. But people also want to know if there is a way to aid Brown family too. 32-year-old Jeremy Brown is no more. Carlishia Hood's 14-year-old son pow-powed him with a firearm. Allegedly, Hood's son chased Brown out of the store while firing at him. The victim suffered a bullet wound to the back and his head and was pronounced unalive at the scene even before he could be taken to a hospital. An alleged GoFundMe has been set up for Jeremy Brown by his cousin Ashanti Brown with a goal of $1,000 for his services. $125 has been raised at the time of the writing. However, whether his family is doing the fundraiser has yet to be confirmed. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think it's fair that Jeremy Brown gets GoFundMes and fundraisers set up for him, although what he did was completely wrong? Or do you feel like, you don't have a dog in the fight, you feel if he needs support or if his family needs support during their time of grieving that you want to help? I personally do not have a dog in the fight. I will not be donating to anything of Jeremy's, but again, his family, that's a whole nother story. So yeah, I won't be donating anything, but I would love to hear what you think in the comments. Do you think that it's fair, or do you think that his family should just remove the GoFundMe? Speaking of Jeremy's family and the funeral, shout out to SK Pop. No class, lack of morals, this is crazy. Jeremy Brown funeral attendees wear Knockout King t-shirts, leaving the internet outraged. 32-year-old resident Jeremy Brown's funeral recently sparked controversy as an attendee wore a t-shirt with a picture and Knockout King written on it. He was pow-powed by a 14-year-old on June 18th, 2023 and died from 3 bullet wounds in his back. The incident took place after Jeremy punched the teen's mother, Carlishia Hood, at a hot dog stand. Photos from Jeremy's funeral started going viral on social media on June 30th. YouTuber shout out to Nick at Night uploaded a video where she elaborated on the situation, as it was shown that the woman who wore the Knockout King t-shirt is a family member of Jeremy Brown, who goes by the name of Sade Shadow on Instagram. Shout out to Nick at Night and her Night Owls. They've been doing a wonderful job covering this situation. How do you all feel? Let me know in the comments and below the video about Sade, the cousin of Jeremy Brown, wearing a Knockout King t-shirt to his funeral. I think that is very disgusting that she would do something like that in the first place, because the t-shirt is a lie. If he was the Knockout King, why didn't he knock out Carlishia? Until the next video, I love you all. Make sure you like and subscribe. We will be back with this situation. Bye.